there's an organization here locally that's really focused on trying to get kids reading. With that, let's bring in Heather Mertz and Jayne Rose-Vallee. They are the founders of Literacy for Kids. Great to have you both with us. How are you today?
Very well.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
We appreciate your time, but also the work that you're doing. And Jayne, if we can talk to you, what exactly is Literacy for Kids?
Literacy for Kids was born out of, I'm an author and I travel to schools across the country reading to them. And what Heather and I have learned is being in person, making that eye-to-eye contact, listening. There's more to literacy than just reading and writing. So we can't really redefine literacy. However, we like to kind of expand on it. We think that it also includes communication. So listening, like I mentioned, how they articulate their voice. Some kids can't just read, so we use illustrations. So we have this tagline that we like to put the art in literacy. And what we mean by that is we just broaden it and kind of include it in that way.
So Heather, if I can ask you as the executive director, we do have so many programs, especially in the city of Detroit, focused on literacy for kids. What makes this organization different?
Literacy for Kids stands out differently because we are introducing the concept that reading is connected to the arts for these students. And it really resonates with these students that are struggling, who are behind with reading levels, because we do add that artistic and creative element to literacy. We offer event-based literacy programs and presentations, and we bring them directly to these Detroit students. These experiences focus on making a personal connection with these kids, which we have found impacts long-lasting results. It helps build relationship and rapport with these students. We really highlight curiosity and imagination, which Jayne and I believe is paramount to long-term learning.
We just finished up some storytelling workshops, and all children are storytellers, and to try to get them to believe that and be able to tell their stories through different mediums, it was amazing, and it was great to be back in their presence one-on-one. The masks are tricky, but necessary. But it was great to be in front of them again, and it's important for them as well. But when they learn that they don't just have to be able to, because writing and reading adds another layer of communicating. So if we can get through that, they can also communicate through different
art mediums.
Yes, storytellers, through songs, beat and rhythm. It was great. We had a great
time. It was really nice. This is the first time since the pandemic that we were in front of these children again. And it was so amazing. It's what Jayne and I needed to just kind of bring that literacy-based event program to the students directly, and seeing the results was incredible. We spent 2 weeks, we partnered with Center for Success, and we spent 2 weeks with these students, and by the end of our workshop, they were writing and illustrating their own books. So they found their voice, and
it was amazing.
Great.
So what age group are we talking about here?
We work with a variety of age group. For this particular workshop with Center for Success, it was ages 7 through 10, through 12 maybe. We're partnering with Detroit PAL the first week of August, and that will be probably about the same age range.
We love Detroit PAL.
We do too. We can't wait to work with the students. Yep.
So Jayne, if I can ask you, because someone who's an author, we know that the medium has changed so much since we were kids, because the students now, they have all these electronic devices in front of them. Sometimes, some of these kids aren't exposed to like actual old school books. How do you bridge the gap between I don't want to say old school because then I feel old, but let's just say, in the new era of literacy, which so much of it is online?
we still buy a book for, like, our Authors in Detroit program. We're partnering with Detroit Public Schools, and we still buy a book and donate it to each child. So we still believe strongly that having a book in front of them is important. And I think kids like that as well. Many of the authors in today's world, though, are providing, especially through the pandemic, we're reading on a weekly basis and reading their books. Mac Barnett, who we collaborate with from California, would do a Saturday read along for children. So that's when, you know, authors are reading their own works. And I think that's kind of cool too.
We have this funny thing that we tell the kids is that Jayne and I happen to love the smell of a book. And if you say that to a student or a child, they laugh, but then they kind of get it. That holding and feeling a book and turning the pages and looking at the illustrations, it makes a difference. And it's part of our personal connection, which we have found has made those lasting results with students. So,
I understand it. I get it.
yeah, smell it. You like to smell books?
I know. And it sounds so weird, but there is, I remember, you know, first I started out, I think, on a Kindle and then the iPad. And it was like you didn't get to turn the pages. Right. So then they, at least on the iPad, they added that little swipe with the sound of a page turning. But I will say, since my iPad has died, I've had to go down into my basement, and I'll go to like a lot of these book sales where the last day it's like $5, you know, get as many as you can, and then I buy a bunch and then I give them to homeless shelters and stuff. But it's been like, oh, I didn't read that one. Oh, I didn't read that one. So like during COVID, that's been this whole new exploration, because as much as we like to think our electronic devices can fill a gap, and they are great when you go on vacation, you don't have to carry 2 or 3 big, huge books with you. Nothing replaces the pages of a book.
And I feel like that feeling starts at a young age. And so Jayne and I are working towards getting as many books in as many students' hands, and donations help do that. All donations directly fund our programs. You can go to our website, literacyforkids.org, and make a donation right to our website. And $10, $20 buys a book for one student. And that's kind of our goal.
And we get the authors to personally sign them for each student. And then they get that presentation from that particular author. So they kind of build this relationship, this kinship between that author and the book that they will have. It's kind of a memento that makes that relationship last a little longer.
Mm-hmm. So Jayne, can I ask you, coming from the standpoint of an author, what has this been like for you to take on this journey?
Well, it just kind of happened so naturally in that I would go to these classrooms and see what a difference it makes with these students. And I thought, if I'm making this difference, and it was so obvious to me, I thought, if I can bring more authors, and all authors feel like I do, we do it because we love children and you know, that sharing. If I can do this, then a larger group of people can do even more. And so Heather came on board, and it's been amazing.
It really has. It's the most rewarding, fulfilling opportunity for both of us.
And all my book sales go directly for Literacy for Kids. Typically, any children's author will know you don't get into it to make money, but any money that is made goes directly into the Literacy for Kids. That's how much I believe in what we're doing.
So I know that you guys formed this group in 2019, just before the pandemic. So what has it been like to try to get this organization up and running, but then we're hit by COVID-19 and everything kind of shuts down for a while?
You know, we really found the silver lining in the pandemic early on. We were able to pull authors from LA, from Brooklyn, from New York, from all over.
Michigan.
As well as Michigan. Kenneth Kragel is from Grand Rapids. We were able to build this relationship with these authors that we might not have been able to afford to do so young in our formation, because we were able to do it virtually. So Mac Barnett's in LA, Katie Yamasaki is in Brooklyn, and we were able to get these presentations, order the books, and still form our Authors in Detroit program, which we will launch in fall 2021, partnering with the Detroit Public School System. So
they videotaped their presentations. So we missed that one-on-one with the kids and the authors, but it still allowed us to virtually.
Move forward.
So we just tried to create a different way to do it.
We're talking with Jayne Rose-Vallee and Heather Mertz, founders for Literacy for Kids. We also know, though, while you found the silver lining, at the end of the day, you also need those relationships and the funding. What has that side of the house been like during the pandemic? Hard to have a fundraiser. I know some organizations have tried to do virtual.
We're always out looking for grants, looking for corporate sponsorships, looking for donations. We did a big media launch with a plea for donations. We hope to get a fundraiser in this year. So now that things are kind of getting back to normal-ish, we hope that the funds will start coming in a little more freely. It's been difficult, though.
So, Jayne, can I ask you, too, as someone who writes books, what keeps that creative juice flowing? And how do you keep thinking like a kid?
Well, that thinking like a kid comes kind of naturally. I'm not sure.
Does.
I'm not sure.
Hashtag never grow up.
Yes. My imagination, it's my favorite word, and it's kind of huge. So I started this Dinosaurs Living in My Hair series, and it was a poem I wrote for my daughter. She's got this crazy curly hair, and I used to say there could be dinosaurs living in there. And so that started, and I grew up with nursery rhymes, and so I always believed that a lesson and a moral of the story kind of needs to weave in there. So I'm not sure I answered your question because I get distracted. My mind goes crazy.
There's her imagination at work.
Yeah, right? That's great.
So the third book's coming out. I spend a lot of time in the Florida Keys, and the ocean is a big importance to me. So the third book talks about environmental issues and keeping our oceans clean, teaching kids about picking up trash and what it does to the reef fish and the coral reefs. So I'm always thinking, and I drive Heather a little bit crazy, probably. But.
Well, it was really fun because the third book is at the printer currently,
It is.
And we were able to share the third book just with the computer file, the digital file, with the kids yesterday at Center for Success, and it was just so fun to share this book with these children in person for the first time and see their eyes light up, and it's just so rewarding. I can't say it enough. It's just amazing to be in the presence of children.
So with that, just another minute or two, can you guys tell us where can people get more information about your organization? Or maybe if for people who maybe don't have the money to donate, is there a way for them to partner or to volunteer with your organization?
Of course. Visit us. Literacyforkids.org is our website, and all of our information's there, our contact information. We send out a newsletter throughout the year, a few times a year. So we inform people that way of our fundraising and partnerships that are happening.
Programs.
You can follow us on social media. We're Literacy for Kids, Inc. That is our Twitter handle, social media, Instagram, Facebook. And all of our contact information is in all of those areas.
Well, it's been such a pleasure speaking with the two of you, and thank you for your time and your commitment to all of the kids here, not only in the state of Michigan, but across the country as well, because as an avid reader, I am Nancy Drew, by the way. Nancy Drew doesn't know it, but I'm Nancy Drew. People may not know it, but there were several writers of Nancy Drew, but Nancy Drew started my love of reading. So, it's one character, one book at a time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.